causal research. A causal research means there are cause and then they got effect, right? When this particular thing influence another thing, they will have something. So just like the screen here you see, say, what's that? We call this the water pourer thing, right? When you do gardening, right? So I don't do gardening, so I'm not so familiar. Maybe you do gardening. So when you have this water thing, you pour the water on the plant, and then the plant got your water, and then it will affect it, right? Depend how much you pour. You pour too much, flower will drown. And then if you pour too little, then maybe it gets dry. So there's a cause and effect. In fact, this is one of the most significant, interesting research, right? So when people read about research, this is the main thing. When you want to trust a research paper, or let's say for your health, so make sure it's a cause and effect research, because that is more validated. There's something that has been done and they can see it has an effect to it. So, and it's been proven and you can't dispute it. So this is a much more legit kind of research lah, if you ask me and other people, right? So why something happens, what happens as a result. So when there's rain and then there's mushroom, depends if that area is suitable to grow mushroom or not lah, right? So cause effect, right? So it's just very direct lah, nothing complicated and so on. So if you want to talk about this is like a real thing, but we go back to always this in-law thing. So just now, descriptive analysis, exploratory analysis. Now the first said, so how only you will be happy? This is actually very Malaysian way, very Manglish way, right? So proper English will be, what can I do to make you happy, right? What can I do to make you love me? So here's the father, right? The father-in-law. Father-in-law say, stay with me, right? So I'm not sure whether can you see that? What is this? This thing is like this thing is annoying. This thing here, right? Is disturbing. Okay, so it says, stay beside me, then I will be happy with you a little bit. So it's very hard to please, right? So now you do a cause and effect study, for example, stay beside you. You will be happy, but I'm not sure if I'm happy or not, right? So you can do a research, okay, to determine, will people who live beside or near or with their in-laws will be happy. So let's say, for example, I have a lot of friends who are married, right? So they live with their in-laws or they live near their in-laws. So I would say probably like I will come up with an assumption that anyone that lives with their in-laws may be happy or is happy. You need to have is or. You can't just maybe, right? So how do I know that? Because I'm not sure whether they're happy or not, but after they live with their father-in-law, now they have a new mother-in-law. I don't know. So based on this research, the cause and effect, you can say that they're not very happy living with their in-laws, right? But I don't know, if you have a good in-law, then that is congratulations, blessed. So this is how you perform a cause and effect research. Or another thing, for example, if there is a shoe shop, right? So this is Al Iksan shoe shop, and then this is Socks World, all right? This is from KLIA2, all right? So one shop sells shoes, another shop sell socks, and then I come up with a assumption. The sales of socks would increase. Why? Because people buy shoe, they will say like, hey, that shoe shop doesn't sell any socks. Then if I open a socks shop there, probably I get high sales, right? So what I'm doing here, this assumption is what you call like a hypothesis, right? You want to see the cause and effect. But then what happened? Then you realize that, hey, even though there's a shoe shop, the shoe shop is making money, but no one comes to my place and buy socks. Because why? Because now people wear shoe, don't wear socks. It's a trend. So, right. So you can say your profit of the socks, the shop drop. And then if this drop, then you can say you reject the hypothesis. So this is where you learn about a hypothesis, whether you reject or accept it based on your assumption first. You don't know until you perform the research, you conduct, you look at how each of the variable will actually vary. So if it varies the way it is, then that is how, so this is called a cause effect, where you can actually propose a hypothesis and to see if that particular variable could actually affect the performance of the second variable. Like for instance, shoe, socks, and then you assume the sales go up just because people buy shoe, buy socks. No, right? So the same thing applies to that. Right. So I'm going to go into another example. This is a picture that I took when I was at Egypt. All right. So this is at the Abu Simbel temple. So this temple is so awesome. Like this is sort of like the temple for the gods of Egypt. No, Egypt got so many gods on, right? So this particular temple, the sun will only shine on these two deities, the statue deities. There are four gods, but of the two gods, the sun will only shine on two particular days in a year. I think it's on 22nd and of February and October. I don't know why they do that, but because probably they need some vitamin C so that it will look better. So based on this, we can perform certain case study on, let's say we want to talk about a descriptive research. Okay, so this descriptive research, you can come up with your own diagnosis. So this descriptive research, I can say, for example, this ancient temples is located in the south because this is in the south of Egypt. So that is descriptive. You it's very, very on the surface. You just describe it specific, right? Specific. Like this temple, people say, oh, this Abu Simbel temple, then you know where it is, right? So you need to be descriptive. So you say, this is Abu Simbel temple, and it's located where you don't know, you Google. So it's located in the south of Egypt. So that's a deep research. Then you can go into explanatory. You explain further about, once you have a specific topic, to describe further. Why is it located in the south? So because it was found out that, you know, when the sun rises at that particular area, right? So they can actually have that particular angle, very nice angle for the two statues to get reflected. So there's a lot of calculation being done. You can read more about this Abu Simbel temple. So you can say that this, you know, the Egyptians, they treat the sun like a god because there's a god sun, right? The son of a god or something. So it's called Amon-Ra or something. So you can explain that why they do that. They build at the south so that it's a strategic place for them to worship the sun. And then they will venerate. Venerate means to give high respect. And you can see all the drawings here, right? So this will be more of a, they want to show their respect. They carve the gods of the sun on their architecture here like that. So this is how you can actually see something and evaluate. You specify first a particular area, then you explore. So all of this research goes hand in hand, right? So there's no one particular research, just that only. You need to go in further and then you explore further and see it for yourself there like that. All right. So we've covered the three research. So first exploratory, and then descriptive, and then cause an effect. And I'll show you some examples. Another one we want to look at, there are a few more, which is called correlational research. So correlational research is more on if something happened, then that thing might happen. Okay, you get what I mean? If something happened, then that thing might happen. Just like here, got the two puzzle placed here. Okay, these two won't be connected if this particular variable don't exist. Okay, so for example, a very simple one, this is going to be very, very silly. Like for example, let's say you call A, right? So let's say A, like this. Okay, so a very simple one would be like a boyfriend, girlfriend, right? I have no one right now because I'm lonely, right? If you have someone, you can hold their hand up. So you've got variable A and then variable B. So you, from a correlation perspective, you can know whether it's a positive or negative correlation by seeing how the data is affecting the other data, right? So you'll see like, okay, for example, if going up, this is called a positive correlation and they are happy. Why? Because they do not need to work on a weekend and come to classes on the weekend and they finish their final exam and they're about to get married and suffer. No, I'm just kidding, right? Suffer together, not so bad. You don't suffer alone. No, lah, you know, everything will have ups and downs, all right? So I'm just playing a fool, I'm just kidding. So correlation, you can see there's a positive correlation. If it's holding down means it's a negative correlation. Doesn't mean they are not happy, right? So they can be happy. It's a negative correlation. Why? Because as the variable, now we are looking here like the hand A and hand B. So as the hand A goes down, I'm not sure who controlling who. Maybe the wife is controlling the husband's hand. Hey, my hand tired already, lah. So long just now like that. Pull it down, lah. So pull down. So this variable B might affect the variable A. So as variable B go down, variable A. So usually this one all is when it comes to correlation, we actually look at how they actually affect one another. And usually it's when you perform a correlation research, the researcher will look at the independent and dependent variable. All right. So independent variable. Okay. So independent variable is like I'm not dependent on that variable. Right. So if, for example, the reason why his hand go down is because the wife pulls out. So you can say she has control over him, right? So she will be the independent variable, while A will be the dependent variable, the variable that is being dependent. All right. So you can see like usually things that are independent are things that you want to measure. All right. So independent is always on this axis and dependent is on this axis. Why like that? You can say cannot why can't I put the independent here and dependent here? Actually, there is nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. It is just a convention. Means when people look at a scatter plot data, for example, like that, from a researcher point of view, automatically it has been established long ago. Whatever variable is here, this will be the independent variable, and here will be dependent. But sometimes some people try to make it different. They put in the independent here and here. So if this A is the independent, that means the reason why the hand from top go down is because he's the one that is in control of the wife's hand. So the A now is independent, B is dependent. But for standardization in every description, it is always shown that B can be the independent is always on the x-axis and the y is here. So if you are in control of your husband or boyfriend, girlfriend, you are the x-axis here. So you have the action. So it's nothing wrong if you want to put it here as well. Okay, just a convention, but please specify. But I think it's good if you just put it the way it is, so people will not question your finding. Some people like they're so used to the way of their own ideology, and then they'll question you, they won't give you mark. So it's totally up to you. It's fine. Okay, so no problem. And of course, when it comes to positive, negative, you can go further by telling how strong is this correlation. Is it weak correlation? Is it a strong relation? Right? So if it's a negative correlation, if it's weak, then probably it's less than 0.05 or something like that. So those are more into statistics. If you don't know, never mind, you Google lah, right? So it's not like everything you know, right? So if you don't know, just say, I will tell you soon. And then you go and go Google, right? So this is called correlation thing. So I want to ask you about things. Is this an experimental research? It is not. Because why? Why correlational is not experimental? Very easy. Because I already put down here. Okay, so it says there is no manipulation of variables. This one very important because it is only considered experimental. You see, the word experimental means what? You experiment, right? You try and error. You want to try, if I change this particular thing, will this thing change or not? So in a way, natural way, it shows like the performance is like that without any influence. But now you want to test, will the sales increase if I change this particular sale value? So if I change, maybe it goes up, maybe it goes down. So you are experimenting. So when you do something like this, you are manipulating. So when you are manipulating variable to see how they perform, that is experimental research. But when you do correlational, you just study the characteristic, how it affects, how it depends. For example, let's say, okay, there's a lot of sometime on weekdays, the roti man with the thing, pop, you want to sell bread, right, to house, right? Or like, if your Grab driver is coming, when you call, how you know? Because you can hear the sound of his motorbike, or I don't know if he on some music, ding, ding, dong, dong, I don't know, right? So you can say, okay, variable A will be like the sound or the jingle of the music. So variable B could be the distance. So when that thing is coming, it'll be louder, right? So it comes to correlation. So your food truck, your Grab food is coming because the motor brum, 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 is coming. So when it comes to the graph, you can see that the noise will get louder as the distance become closer, right? So then you plot, that's a correlational positive, because nearer, louder, go up. And what happened? Did you change this? Do you have any control over the music, over the distance? No, right? So that is correlational research. You have no control over them. So you know when the sound, it will be a negative correlation when the music thing, no more music. So if distance is further from you, right? So it's a negative correlation. So in a way, you have no control over. You cannot control that person's sound or music, and you have no control over the distance, how far he traveled, because he's the one driving, lah, not you, right? You're only at home. So in a way, that is a correlational research. Experimental, if you are the driver, you have control over how far you want to go. That is experimental research. Okay, I hope right now you are clear already. So right now, it is not experimental research, but it's okay. All right, from not okay, now you know, now you are very good. So this is qualitative research. Okay, when it comes to qualitative research, it's a bit different from quantitative research. Now, what is qualitative research? You can see here from the picture, what is happening here? People are like arguing, right? But are they researchers? They could be. Most probably they are lawyers, because that's what they love to do, to argue something which is not productive. Or they could be your supervisor, your bosses, anyone, right? So when we talk about qualitative, it is usually a debate. It's an open-end questions. So something like you cannot come to a conclusion, right? So qualitative, people can debate your research. Okay, it's up for debate. Doesn't mean it's a bad research, right? So everything can be a question. That's why you do research, so that people can question more and to improve and so on, right? So they ask open-ended questions, meaning that it's very general and there's no like particular conclusion. So in a way, qualitative, you can say this is non-numerical. Non-numerical, meaning no numbers are involved. It's just words. Or in IT, we call strings, right? So it's just yes, no, good. Like how do you get all this? Usually is when like you go for, they give you questionnaires, they give you surveys, right? To fill up your topic for something to get some information. So those are qualitative research. And if your data collection requires you to do something like that, so this is called qualitative research. And this is also another one, like another question you come up from this. Okay, this is in my class, so look at the student, they're very tired, and I know I shouldn't be doing this, but I took and gave them their pictures. Study very hard. Study, don't study so hard. So a type of qualitative question you can ask is that how help students celebrate after their final exams. So you can see that the questions are very open, very generic, right? How are they going to celebrate after that, right? So in life, please don't work very hard, lah, right? Unless got no time really faster. Okay, so see, when I was young, my parents told me, Aaron, you have to study very, very hard. Okay, lah, I study very hard. Then I go to university. My boss tell me, Aaron, your research, you have to work very hard. I work very hard. Then I went to help university. My boss said, Aaron, you have to work very hard. I study very hard. I work very hard. Now I work even harder. In the end, what happened? In the end, my life also very hard. So relax a bit, and chill a bit. So when it comes to a conclusion for qualitative, actually, what conclusion lah? So qualitative cannot give you any conclusion, meaning there won't be any hypothesis that can be given out, because it's a very open and thing. Still, is it a bad research? No, it's not a bad research. It's actually a good research in knowing a lot of things that you don't know. It's like explanatory and so on, right? So, for example, like survey. So these were the comments given to me by my students from Help University. I don't know who wrote this one. You can see here. The lecturer was great. His class is engaging, but his hair is disturbing. Hey, hello, my hair disturbing. It's my style, man. Like, when I gotta be different. So Dr. Aaron is conducted his class professional manner. Yeah, I wear a bow tie. I wear a tie. He's friendly. So please, guys, after the end of this course, please write a funny survey so that I can teach my other students. I won't tell who. I won't tell who. This is a survey. Can you see? No numbers are involved. So this is a feedback, so that we lecturers can improve after our module, right? So this is a qualitative. No numbers are involved. Just text so that you can improve on it. All right. So usually this will be conducted in focus groups. You will sit to groups, you'll discuss like what we are doing right now is very qualitative. I get the information. I know KK is like that. I know in Thailand, I got to wake up 4 a.m. to take a bus. Otherwise, 7 o'clock, I'll be stuck in the jam. Sorry, Silom. Okay, qualitative research is the opposite. So numbers will be involved. It is indisputable, means that you're going to show your results, right? Like what you have shown is up to others to interpret. They cannot like come in and say that at that particular moment, your finding is wrong. They have to do their research on their own. And then if it's not what they think it is, then they can publish it and probably use yours as an improvement. Not to say like you are wrong, just that the technology at that time, right? Like for example, all the things, the papers, that's why you do research. You try not to reinvent the wheel. Means like what people have done, you try to see if there is something not really right that you can improve, right? And you don't do, you use the old research as a base, and then so that, because old research like 90s, 80s paper, because they are the ones that came up with the foundation. So you need to further get that first, but you do not want to replicate their data because the technology at that time wasn't as advanced as now, right? 2022, you got smartphone. All last time was very limited even to do programming. So now technology, software has been improving. So we usually look at from the oldest to the up to the maybe 5 years, 10 years, still okay that you can actually manipulate and try to see if there's a difference now. So in this is what's called indisputable. Whatever people have put or whatever you have presented, no one can tell you if your finding is right or wrong until they do it. But when you say words like this is a correlational research, then you can say why you say. So yeah, usually this is things we communicate, right? Like Chinese people, we always ask questions, right? Correct. When we talk, it's about asking questions. Hey, why are you here? Why cannot? What you're doing here? Why? If I say this, cannot ask. It's a question thing, right? So qualitative is based on statistical analysis most of the time to prove a particular point. So it's numerical compared to non-numerical. All right. So the question here you can ask that in quantitative is usually what, how, and why is a little bit different. Because why, when you ask why this happened, you need to come up with an explanation. And the explanation is usually debatable unless you have some numbers you can put it. So it's like what is the percentage of this particular thing? And so what is the percentage? So numbers are involved. So how big is the measurement? So you can see usually how and what, when you ask, it involves numbers. How big, what percentage, how small. So all of those things. Why is more like, why smaller? Why cannot? Right? So it's really mixed into that particular lab. So for example, I emceed a wedding recently. So you can ask this. Make sure you don't ask this on their wedding day or in front of them, right? So a quantitative marriage, a qualitative question will be, why did you get married? Right? So this can be a qualitative question. Quantitative, how many times did you got married? Oh my gosh, you don't want to ask this, right? But if you don't know, of course, you know, Malay people can get married 4 times, right? So who knows? This is qualitative, this is quantitative, right? So why do you get married? Are you willing to take that person to be your beloved wife? I do. And then I look at them, you do? Oh my gosh. Now you know I'm single. So this is what I do also. So there's also such thing called as a mixed mode. Mixed mode is like Nescafe, right? Like 2-in-1. So you can means you conduct the quantitative and qualitative measurement, and then you analyze both of them at the same time. Right? So that's called mixed mode. So is it necessary? It actually depends on your research whether it's necessary. For example, from this picture, family reading. So you can do something like this one is just a random law, right? Let's say you want to do a research on a child reading test score, how good the child reads when their parents are around reading with them. So this one you can do a mixed mode, meaning you can bring the parents, all the parents, you put them different group, like active parents, not active reading parents, parents that don't read with their child. Then you look at the score, all right? When the child read A, B, C, whatever, so you grade them, all right? So you can see like, oh, you interviewed the parents, and then you said like, oh, you read with your child a lot. That's why the score See, score is what? Score, the number is qualitative. When you ask the parents, that is that's qualitative, this quantitative. I always get this mixed up. So quantitative, the child score. So you can see the child score better when the parents are reading with them. So you are doing these two analyses at the same time. So this is called a mixed mode thing. You can use a mixed mode, qualitative, quantitative, if it's necessary. But if let's say you want to check the performance, all right, of your company, your sales not improving because your staff always never come to work. So got no staff, your performance drop. So do you need a qualitative and quantitative? Okay, maybe okay. First you see the number of staff entered. You can count, right? One staff, two staff, three staff, four staff. That is really quantitative. Sales is also number game, right? So one staff, one number, two number, three number. So both of these are quantitative, right? So they are correlational already. So you do not actually need to do a qualitative. You do not need to know about what kind of person come to work. Is he lazy? Is he? As long as he likes the sales, that is what important. So more people come to work, your sales could increase or decrease. So both of these can be is a quantitative. So you don't need qualitative. Or another one, for example, people who don't like to talk a lot, right? Like not me, like probably some of you, but no, I just give you an example, right? So introverts, right? Introverts, they are very reserved, but they are the things that I learned from them. I learn to listen more than talk more. So I need to shut up, lah, right? So I listen to them more. So people read things carefully. I need to learn all this from them. So I learn from them, they learn from me. So you want to see that to study introvert people, are they actually very active or so on. So all you need to do is just one particular introvert, you can learn a lot of things really, right? You don't need to have 2, 3, 4, 5 introvert people in a room to learn that. Why? Because all of them are introverts, right? So you know that they have the same characteristics. So why do you need more than one people? So just one person, and then you can perform a qualitative analysis by asking their lifestyle. That's good enough. So certain things you need, certain things you don't need. So is it necessary? It depends, right? So it doesn't mean it's bad, doesn't mean it's good. See what you want. So in the research process, I will talk about this in the next upcoming lecture, where you want to go from here, and then how you can actually write your research and so on. All right.